One, two, three, and the best lesson starts now. Hello, guys. In this lesson, we are going to learn about articles and how to read them, how to increase your reading comprehension while reading them, and what mistakes we should avoid or should avoid when reading articles. Now, I think most of you already have heard the phrase or the sentence that most people say. It's that articles are the easiest reading articles is the easiest way to increase your reading comprehension and your reading score on the SAT or in IELTS, right? But there are some catches to it. There are some things that you need to be careful with. Now, what most people think about articles is that they should be reading the difficult version of it, like the difficult articles they can find. They should be reading regardless of their current levels. I will explain you some strategies that have worked for my students and for me personally when increasing my SAT score or IELTS score. All right. Now, guys, first of all, I think you know what articles are, right? It's from magazines like these ones, to Conversation or something like this. But these are about some scientific things most of the time, or history, or news, or or about politics, that things. Now, also, the SAT is known for taking its passages, and also IELTS is known for taking its passages from articles like these about science, nature, history, biology, and etc. Now, in this lesson, right now, after a few minutes, like after 20 minutes, I can guarantee you that you will learn how to properly read the articles and how to increase your score and how many articles you need to get 700 plus on the SAT. All right. All right. So let's start our lesson. First of all, this is an example of an article about space race, right? It's basically about racing to go to the moon or to go beyond moon, right? Oh, I missed this one, not this one, but it was this one. Yeah. All right. First of all, guys, some of the mistakes that students make is that the first one. All right, let's write down mistakes to avoid. Mistakes most students, let's say mistakes that prevent you from getting 700 plus on the SAT, on the reading section, on EBW, RW. All right. The first mistake is that choosing the wrong articles, the wrong articles. Now, hear me out. If you have like 500 or 400 on the SAT, you cannot be directly going into the hardest articles like the New Yorker or the Economist because they are usually in a real hard they have really hard words that you might have never heard of. All right. What you should be doing is that I think if you have like let's say 400, 500, start with articles like New Scientist or some other ones that are not that hard, like not the hardest ones in there. All right. New Scientist is not the easiest one. It's actually hard, but it will not make your life miserable. All right. The New Yorker is it includes really a lot of fictions and a lot of words that even I have never heard of. All right. So do not choose the wrong articles. My advice: if you have, if you are between 400 and 600 in reading, read from New Scientist. All right. New Scientist. This is my advice for you guys. All right. To solve this problem. But if you are higher than 600, like 630, 650, you can learn, you can read anywhere you want. Even New Scientist, even New Yorker, but New Yorker isn't always the best option. Economist is a good idea. The Atlantic is a good idea also. And personally, really like Scientific American. Right, this is a great article, Scientific American. It's a great one, including a lot of science and a lot of interesting topics, engaging topics. All right. Now, the next thing The next mistake most students make is that they focus, they, all right, let's say focusing on the vocabulary more than the reading comprehension. Focusing on increasing your vocabulary, on vocabulary more, let's say uh, on vocabulary too much, on vocabulary too much. Most of us guys have heard the phrase that most students say that we need a lot of vocabulary, a lot of words to success to get to succeed on the reading section, right? But it's actually kind of wrong, all right? First of all, you don't need to know all the words in the English language, right? It's impossible, most likely. But what you need to do when reading is that you don't have to memorize all the hard words, all the terms that they have put into the article. You just need to write them down and actively memorize it by reading, not by repeating the word to yourself after, memorizing it by forcing yourself, something like this. So don't focus on the vocabulary much, right? Don't focus excessively. You can focus on it. You have to put your time to write it down, to read them out, to translate their meanings, to know their definitions, I think, but don't focus too much, all right? This is the problem. And then what you need to do instead is emphasize on the reading itself. All right. Now, what I mean by that is that you have to read the article and then you have to understand each sentence and why the each the exact sentence that you have read just now is in there. You need to know the purpose, the function of each sentence in the article. All right, what does it serve? Why is it written? What does it tell me? What is the meaning here? Sometimes articles have these jokes, some these metaphorical things. You have to understand them to get to increase your reading comprehension. That is the main thing. That is our main focus. All right, these are the two mistakes that I have right now in my mind, but I will write down more after if I remember them. All right, if I remember more. Now, strategy. Let me teach you the best strategy. The best strategy. All right. Now, I hear most students say, I have read this many articles, that many articles, like thousands of articles, and I haven't improved my reading comprehension yet. The mistake they make is just reading. Don't just read. Sometimes it is, we are humans. We are prone to making mistakes. Sometimes we might make mistakes, and we might just, sometimes you might not understand the text, some sentences, and you might just let it go, let it go. All right, just pass through it, right? Don't If you don't understand it, just pass through it. You don't have to understand it, right? That's the mindset we have when reading the articles. But the problem is, you have to understand every single word and every single sentence, even if they are too hard, even if they are like impossible to understand, even if you have to use ChatGPT to understand them. All right. So don't just read it and then go on with your life thinking you will have your reading comprehension improved in like 2 days. What you need to do is you just need to read same article at least, at least 3 times. All right. And when I say 3 times, it's not just reading it. How you read it is that, let me teach you. The first time, read it. God, read it and underline the new words. You don't know, write them. You don't know them. You can't translate them. Don't translate while reading, all right? Just read it. Do not touch your phone. Just read it, all right? Do not translate it yet. Underline the words, but do not translate it yet at all. If you translate, go on to Google every time you see a word. It will make you confused. You will forget what you were reading about, that things. Just read it as much as you can to understand it, and then also at the same time underline the words, but go on and focus more on understanding it. Now, second time, before starting reading, translate the words, translate the words, and then read it again, all right? Now, after you have read it second time, you have translated the words, you understand a lot of things. Now it seems pretty clear to you what the main idea is, what the main thing is. All right, it seems pretty clear what you are reading about. Is the words are clear. There is there is pretty much nothing about to worry about. There is nothing to worry about when you have read it twice and you have understood everything, right? But there is the last time that you read, and there is a huge purpose. There is a huge thing you need to do. In the third time, what you need to do is that summarize each paragraph when reading. This is the huge thing. After you have read it twice and you have understood it clearly, you need to summarize each paragraph or two paragraphs. After two paragraphs, just go on and summarize the whole thing and tell it to yourself. Speak it to yourself. Like, have a voice message sent to someone or your friend or your relative, save a message, doesn't matter. Just do a recording of each passage explaining to yourself what it's saying, right? Not everything, a small overview. If the paragraphs are too small, let's say they are like 2 to 3 sentences, then summarize every third paragraph, all right? Summarize the third one, like not the first, second, but summarize three together. I think you get what I mean. Now, this is the strategy. After the third time, you will have everything clear, you will understand the purpose of the whole thing, and if you keep reading in this strategy, you'll better your reading comprehension in a faster way than just reading the article, all right? It's not the best strategy. This is the strategy that I have used for myself, and this is the best strategy. No, not just reading it and then skipping the words, skipping the sentences you don't know. The fuck. Right. Now, guys, the mistakes were choosing the wrong articles, focusing on vocabulary too much. Also, just learn the vocabulary, but do not memorize it sitting in there for 3 hours. Read the article 3 times, and in that time, I think most of you already have, you will have memorized the words that you translated in the second time or in the first time after, yeah, while reading. Yeah. Basically, if you read it 3 times, you will most likely memorize those words. You don't have to even worry about that. Now we have went through two mistakes and the best strategy I have ever seen, right? The big question is how many times, how many articles to read using the best strategy to get 700 plus. Now this question, I will answer it with a question, all right? The first thing is that what is your score? If your score is about 400, 600 on reading, then read 400 plus articles. Doesn't matter their size, just 400. They must be average, their size must be a page, just one page. Then read articles the using the best strategy. Strategy. All right. And then if you are, let's say, not 600 but 550, let's say 550 in here. Yeah. If you are between 550 plus, then read. You have to maximum read, for the maximum number I'm telling you, about 300, over 300 articles using the best strategy, the best strategy. Now, I can highly likely guarantee this thing only if you read the article in this way and if you choose could choose the correct answer, sorry, the correct articles. All right, choose the right answer, the right articles, and then read them in this way, in this strategy. All right. After you have read it 3 times, it is enough. You can go on to the next article. But let me show you an example of an article like this in here. So what you do is that you will read from here till the below in here, everything in here, right? And then you have understood it, but you don't know the sum of the words in there. What you do, you will translate them and then go on to read the article second time with with the new words translated in your notebook or in your notes. All right. Then while reading, you just need know the meanings of those words. You can understand them pretty much. Now the third time is summarizing each paragraph or each every short paragraph like this, or each paragraph if you have a big paragraph, but if you have a small one, summarize all the three paragraphs together. This is the strategy that I use, that I have used, that my students right now use, and this is a strategy that I can tell you to increase your reading comprehension in the fastest and the best way. Guys, this was the whole thing I needed to teach. I hope it was useful, and yeah, this is the end of the best lesson some of you ever see. Thanks for watching the lesson, guys. See you in the next one.